Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know how they say a picture's worth 1,000 words? Well, sometimes a couple words are worth 1,000 words. Sometimes you say something so absolutely ignorant, so absolutely idiotic, that it tells everybody all they needed to hear, all they needed to know. It gives them all the information that they needed to understand the bigger picture. And that's exactly what happened here. I've never seen such a gang of misfits. I've never seen such a congregation of incompetence, such a collective of morons in my life. But here we are. I mean, that's reality 2024. That's what the Biden administration is. All these judges that have been added, all of these additions that have been made to the government since Joe Biden's assumed his role in 2021, during all these nomination hearings, I mean, we've seen how bad they've been. It's truly a bad news bears situation at the White House. Well, it's happening again, this time with Joe Biden's Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, hits us with yet again a Biden cabinet facepalm moment. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I guess it's another Freudian slip, another oopsies moment, another accidentally saying the quiet part out loud. Take a look at this.
Has Treasury really not looked at, okay, we're already charging $4.9 trillion for the deficit, for Medicare, for a lot of other things, and now we got to add social, but we haven't done the math to figure out how much that tax rate would have to be?
The president doesn't have a plan. He has principles. He wants to work with Congress to find a way to protect Social Security and extend its solvency beyond 2034.
Now, if the president wishes and he doesn't have a plan, Madam Secretary, how could he justify not having a plan when he's been in office for 3 years already?
He believes it's important to work with Congress and not
Madam Secretary, he has not worked with us at all. On this Senate Finance Committee.
That's Joe Biden's Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, essentially admitting that Biden doesn't actually have a plan for Social Security. The president doesn't have a plan, no, he has principles. Not exactly sure what those principles are. You know, the kind of principles that one would have that would lead them to shower with their daughter and send their crack-addicted son across the world as their top lobbyist agent. So while I'm not sure what exact principles she's referring to, I do get what she's saying. I get the point. I just don't agree with it. In fact, I think it's kinda dumb. Essentially what she's saying, the direct translation, or let's call it paraphrasing, the president doesn't have a plan, he has principles, means feelings over facts, emotions over budgets. The typical leftist pseudo-academic grift. I guess the White House has decided that they're opting for the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez style of thinking. Budget? What's a budget? How am I gonna pay for it? What are you, a racist? We've gone full-blown woke mode, and if you think that I'm kidding or I'm exaggerating, no, I'm not. This administration is more focused on fancy things like restorative justice and racist highways, roads, and bridges. Yeah, that's a real thing. Here's Pete Buttigieg talking about it the other day.
If an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or that would have been, in New York was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that simple reality, and I think we have everything to gain by acknowledging it and then dealing with it, which is why the Reconnecting Communities, that $1 billion, is something we want to get to work right away.
It's a real thing, okay, guys? Stop laughing. Enough with the jokes. It's a real priority here at the White House. Yeah, the White House isn't focused on balancing budgets. They're not focused on effective spending. They're focused on grifting and funneling as much money through the Washington laundromat. Oh, that beautiful taxpayer slush fund. Your infrastructure dollars need to be funneled probably into some department studying anti-racist infrastructure. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is building badass bridges and tunneling through the frickin' Earth's core. But Joe Biden's America is focused on bridges that are too low, that were supposedly installed there to stop black people in buses from going to the beach. You know, even if that's like a real thing, why is it a focus? Who's going to the beach in giant buses, and why are we talking about it? Instead of talking about big, bold, ambitious, forward-thinking dreams. For Pete's sakes, Joe Biden keeps bragging about this $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that was passed, like 2 years ago? I don't remember the exact date, but it's certainly been more than a year. $1 trillion in taxpayer funds. $1 trillion. I'm looking around like I'm John Travolta. wondering, where's the infrastructure? It's become absurd at this point. You are experiencing bloated, useless government. A government that has a spending problem, no problem launching all kinds of new initiatives and programs, in an environment where they can't figure out how they're going to pay for the previous program. And when you ask a question, well, where's the plan, especially considering Social Security was a pretty hot topic during the 2020 presidential election, after 3 years, going on 4 years at this point, you'd expect at least a plan, or an outline of a plan. Something basic, an idea. Republicans are criticized for criticizing Social Security and all of its flaws. The Democrat response should be a coherent plan or an argument as to why they're wrong and how we're going to fix it. But no, instead it's, listen, buddy, we have principles, okay?
Listen, okay?
It's literally just Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's taken over the party. For Pete's sakes, at this point, she's become the face of defending Hunter Biden and grilling the Biden administration's political adversaries in Congress. Maybe she's really going to become president. That's the new liberal way of thinking. It happened in Canada, for instance. This guy.
How committed to a balanced budget would you be right now? Would it worry you to go into deficit in this current climate to, as you say, put more people to work?
The commitment needs to be a commitment to grow the economy, and the budget will balance itself. And the budget will balance itself.
Became prime minister. I guess he set the tone for the future of liberalism now, didn't he? Budgets are going to balance themselves. We don't have a plan, we have principles. How are you going to pay for it? Or, of course, the kryptonite for most progressive leftists, well, where are you going to get the money? How are you going to pay for it? To which the answer generally just devolves into some nonsense, incoherent, anti-capitalist rant about how money is arbitrary and we could just print money to save the poor people. This type of process has simply become the process. This is how Democrats now operate. Pass this giant bloated government bill to save the world. Remember the Green New Deal? The bill touted by leftists that was supposedly going to save the world. Well, ask the question, how much would that cost? Well, the Aspen Institute has the answer. If one adds up the low-end range, the total is $52 trillion over the next 10 years. At the high end, it's $93 trillion. Or let's look into Medicare for All, for instance, which according to experts, Medicare for All would be spending approximately $37.8 trillion between 2017 and 2026. How are you going to pay for it? Well, I guess they're going to pay for it not with money, not with that arbitrary fiat capitalist evil money. No, they probably intend to pay for it with their principles. Absolutely idiotic. But here's the real answer. The way they plan to pay for it is they don't plan to pay for it at all. No, working people, the working class, the middle class, you're going to pay for it. And what I mean by pay for it is you won't be able to pay for it because they'll just keep spending more and more money that you don't have, that the country doesn't have, that the country hasn't collected. They'll continue to bloat the deficit while destroying the American economy with taxes, bankrupting the nation for future generations. Because principles. Ah yes, bow down to the moral elite Democrats spending this nation into the frickin' ground. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.